Okay, so first what we need is we need to have the data stored somewhere in the calculator. So we're going to create a set of numbers using control, and then this button here gives you those braces. Every time you see braces, they're usually used to make a set of numbers. So control, the control key, and then this key over here will give you those braces. And inside of those braces, we're going to add all of our values for x. So let's go ahead and get the x values and put 0. And then you need a comma to separate each element of this set. And then 4. And then 8. And 12. 16. And then 20. Okay, so all of these numbers represent a set. And we're going to call this set maybe A. You can choose any variable to store it. So to get this little arrow, you press Control, and then this button here, the Store button, and then type in A. And then press Enter, and it just gives you this back, and it's saying it's already stored in A. Okay? Now we're going to create another set for the y value, so press Control, braces, and we'll have 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, and all the way to 25. And we're going to store this, so press Control, Store, in B. And then press Enter. Okay, so we have both sets stored already. And we know that they're kind of related, right? This table relates each number with each number, and that's how we're able to graph this, because we have a relation here. And we talked about relations last time in functions. So now we're going to graph this scatter plot. So let's go to our graphing window by pressing the calculator button. And we don't want to graph a function. So to change that, we're going to go to Menu. And when it says Graph Entry, we're going to edit that entry. And instead of a function, which is the default, we're going to use scatter plot. And then it wants to know what value is going to the x-axis. And we have them stored in A. Then press Tab to go to the other. And what values go to the y-axis? That's going to be B. And you press Enter. And we can see a few of them, but we know we had more, right? So we kind of have to adjust our window. And to do that, we can go to Menu, Window. And then there's a lot of options here. We can go to the settings and kind of figure them out. But the fastest way is to zoom to the data that we have stored. So Zoom Data will adjust the window right away, so you can see all the data. And you can move this to the side. So here are all the points in our data. Okay? And in this case, this is not an experiment, but if this was data from an experiment, do you think they would fall in a perfectly straight line if you were measuring this? No, right? Why? No? Exactly right. There's some reasons. They'll try to make the spring follow a straight line, but when we do the experiment, it's not going to, our numbers are not going to be, probably not on a straight line, right? They're going to look like on a straight line, but they're going to be off by a little bit, because there's some error. When you're using your instruments to make measurements, there's going to be some error as well. And you study that also in IPC and physics when you do experiments. All right, so if this data was from an experiment, then they would not be so perfect like the way they are. We got these points from using the function, so it's supposed to be on a linear path. So what if we want to graph that function? So press tab, and notice how we don't want to type it in here. We got to change the entry line again. So go to menu, and we want to change it so that we can enter a function. So graph entry, edit, and we want a function. And the function, I believe, was, what was the function? Okay, so let's put control divide for that fraction template. And then you type in 5 over 4 times x. Now we have a scatter plot, and we have a function that goes to those points.